Yeah, I
But
see Norway
look
Chess.
at Gukesh. He seems like he just snuck in there. Like he doesn't.
He's there. Yes. Here we go, guys. Another episode of the C Squared podcast. Here we are, Fabi. It's been a while, actually. We were both occupied with different things. You had the tournament. I had the tournament. You were playing the Champions Chess Tour. I was in Poland, left immediately after Romania, more or less. How's it going? How are you?
Yeah, it's going all right. It's been pretty busy. So, and there's no rest as well, because Norway Chess starts very soon, and I'll be leaving tomorrow. But yeah, overall it was a pretty decent week. You know, it was a bit up and down for sure. A little bit disappointing at the end, but I mean, overall, with some perspective, a pretty good week. And the only thing is that I do feel tired because it has been a lot of chess back to back, and it will continue to be a lot of chess back to back.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's kind of, this was the week to get your energy back before Norway Chess. I mean, that's a very long event. I think we're going to be there for like a couple of weeks, 15 days, if I'm not mistaken. Count the travel, count everything in between the Blitz tournament, and it's just going to be extremely, extremely tough.
Yeah. Well, it's also the Armageddon, but the length of the tournament, I mean, 9 rounds, I think is pretty standard. But yeah, there's a Blitz tournament, which is pretty casual. It's just to decide the pairings. That's the like old school way of deciding pairings, right? Which I like. I think it's a fair way of doing it. So if you do well, you get an extra white. If you do well in Blitz, you get an extra white. If you do poorly, you end up with an extra black. I saw a funny comment of Hikaru. I forget where he said it. Maybe it was in an interview, but it was very recent where he said, or maybe it was like I was watching a stream for Title Tuesday for a few minutes, and he said that he's not going to play Magnus early on because they're both going. The idea was that they're both going to finish in the top of the Blitz, so he's not going to play him early on in the tournament in the classical chess because they're not going to be paired until later. Which is like, it's a fair presumption, I guess, that they'll both do well in Blitz, but it is still a bit presumptuous, right? It's at least a little bit presumptuous.
It is. And in fact, he hasn't been doing very well, at least in the Champions Chess Tour. Now, obviously, that can be attributed to the fact that he was traveling. So I think he left right before the tournament started to, I guess, get used to the time zone in Norway because he will be playing Norway. So that makes some sense. Probably was fighting some jet lag and did pretty poorly in the Champions Chess Tour. I think he lost the first match against, was it against Firouzja?
He lost his first match against Jordan, and he lost his second match against Firouzja.
Jordan, yes. So that was the winner's bracket, lost against Jordan. Next day, lost against Firouzja in the loser's bracket. So got eliminated very quickly. Obviously, not a good tournament for Hikaru, not up to his standards in general. But you had a pretty good run in the tour, in the Champions Chess Tour. Division 1, let's not forget. Top 3 qualify to the next Division 1. So we've been discussing this format previously. It's a very nice loop if you manage to stay in the loop.
Infinite life glitch.
Yes, it's a nice glitch, and you did. So good job on that. Let's start with kind of the first round. You played Shimano in the winner's bracket. How was that?
Yeah, that was a pretty, like, overall a smooth match. I think I was coming into it a really heavy favorite, but you never know. And the first game actually, I think, set the tone because after I won that, and I basically blundered in the opening. As soon as I made the move knight f4, I was like, what am I doing? G5, and I'm worse. And then a few moves later, I was borderline losing. But once it got bad, I outplayed him very, very convincingly in that game. After
so
I won
G5, you were worse after knight f4.
Yeah, I mean, knight f4 is crazy. Like, as soon as I let go of the knight, I was like, wait, what about taking G5?
But can you take on E6?
Sorry, what's that?
Can you take on E6?
I don't know, maybe, but I thought about it briefly, but then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to start sacking pieces when it's probably not the refutation of the line, and I don't know the line, and he does, so I'm not going to start sacking my pieces. No, I took basically a practical approach, which was I understand my position's bad. I just retreat my pieces and I try to like my position is bad not for any long-term reasons. It's only bad because I have no development. So if I survive long-term, I'm doing okay. That's kind of the understanding I had of it. So I wasn't, let's say I didn't think it was a hopeless situation. I knew my position's bad, but it's not one of those positions that never gets better. So that's why I wasn't so terribly concerned.
Yeah.
And after I managed to, I even win that game, I think that the rest of the match was just very, very, like, there wasn't really any doubt in my mind that I would win that.
Yeah.
After that.
And I think you won that 2.5 to a half, so
yeah.
that set the tone. Definitely a good start in the winner's bracket. Let's not forget the format is, in the winner's bracket, you play 4 games, best out of 4. In the loser's bracket, so on your second life, you play best out of 2. Next, you played, was it Jules? No, Jules you played in the finals.
I played Notterbeck already after that.
Okay.
And I lost that match. I lost 2.5, 1.5.
Yes.
And so the match was basically the first game I was slightly better, but draw. Relatively well played game. You know, I didn't really break through. He surprised me in the opening, a bit of an unpleasant surprise, and I got no advantage. Then I outplayed him a bit. I was slightly better, but only very slightly. And then it kind of liquidated. I misplayed it a bit. And second game I lost. He came up with the line, which it was kind of silly because I knew the line. I'd even checked it recently, and I just couldn't remember my conclusions about it because it's a bit of a confusing position. And he just got an advantage from the opening, and then it was kind of a flawless game, so it was a very good game. Then I struck back in a messy French, third game. I won that. I equalized the match. And last game I lost, again, very, like I was maybe a tiny bit worse at the opening, and then equalized pretty much completely. And then I just missed like one very, very important move, and he played it instantly. It was as soon as he played it, I was like, my God, because it's once you see it on the board, you realize it's very bad. But yeah, it was a move b4 when I played bishop to f6.
Let me pull up the game.
But I was already under some pressure, and then after b4, I was under a lot of pressure. I mean, I kind of even saw that the move, but I didn't think it was. And then suddenly I realized like c takes d4 and knight g4, and he won another excellent game. His technique is really, really good. So once he gets an advantage, he doesn't seem to let it slip. So yeah, and that was a match 2.5, 1.5, and he got into the, I guess it's the winner's final, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
That's you win your first 2 matches, you get into the winner's final.
Yes. So that's basically once you get there, you're 1 match away from securing the qualification for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
If you win your first 2 matches, you automatically qualify for the next Division 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you guarantee. Am I right? Because you win win. Yeah, you do. You qualify directly for you because you get top 3 if you win your first 2 matches. You guarantee top 3.
Yeah.
That's what Jordan did. He beat Hikaru, and then he beat Kolars, was it?
Kolars, yeah.
Kolars. And then he lost to Noderbeck, and he lost to me, and he got top 3 like that. So, yeah, winning the first 2 matches is pretty huge from that point of view.
That's not bad. Not bad at all. But you got relegated, more or less, to the loser's bracket, and then you met, I believe it was Jules, right?
No, I played Ali Reza first.
You played Ali Reza first, yes.
Yeah, this was obviously going to be the toughest match in the loser's bracket. I was thinking I'm either going to play Ali Reza or I'm going to play Hikaru, right? But of course because I thought it was like a 50-50 between them who would win their match, and Ali Reza beat Hikaru, and then I played Ali Reza, and of course it's also 2-game match against Ali Reza. You know, you can't really be confident, but I wasn't unconfident either. I just thought, okay, it's going to be a very, very close match. And by the score, it wasn't a close match. I won 2-0. But by the games, of course, I was losing the first one with the white pieces. And he was very, very close to beating me there. So sometimes the score doesn't accurately reflect the difficulties. And the second game, I wasn't ever really in trouble, but it was also a tense game. But it was marred by two blunders for him. Like the reason he really lost his match was the first game I think there was a lot that went well for him because he was winning for a long time in many different ways, and so he had to kind of not like his technique was just not there at all, and then he also blundered to lose. But once I was over that, the losers bracket was kind of smooth. Well, okay, smooth, yeah. I was confident. Let's say not smooth. It wasn't smooth sailing for sure,
Well,
but I was relatively confident.
Didn't you make it to the Armageddons in both matches?
Yeah, I played two Armageddons. Well, the first match, like, I played Jules, Musard,
Yeah.
and I play like a really exquisite game. I'm not trying to like be boastful or anything, but a really exquisite game. The first one,
Okay,
really
let's
really
show
well
it.
played game.
Let's show that actually, since you're saying that it's so exquisite. I think it's a good idea to show it. All right. So e4, e5, knight f3, nice Petrov, d4. Tell us where the exquisitiveness began.
Okay, we can fast forward a bit. I can let me get the game up. I can
b5,
kind of
bishop d3. This is still some sort of theory, right?
so bishop e3 is theoretical, yeah,
Yeah.
and he knew it. Basically, I didn't remember much about this line. I just remembered bishop e3 is a very safe option for white.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of lines which are really critical, where white plays, for example, c5, on move 11. Very critical lines. But once you fix the center, then black at some point plays like bishop g4, f5, or bishop g6, f5, and it's a very double-edged position. So this is not what I was going for. The other move is 11, knight c3. This is a very safe move. White reaches kind of minuscule, like a minuscule advantage in all lines. But it's so worked out, the theory here, and I was playing this with black like 2016 against Maxime. I mean, a long time ago I was playing this. So the theory has been worked out for like, let's say, pretty much a decade, if not more. After knight c3, and bishop e3 is a rare move. And it's also safe. So it's not that worked out, it's safe, but that's basically what I knew.
Yeah.
And I think that Levon played it against Eric Gacy, and knight a6 was played. After that, cd5, cd5, something here, I forget exactly, but maybe a3 I think Levon played.
Mm-hmm.
But Jules took and played b5. So when he did this, I understood that he knows the line because I knew this was a path for black. And I couldn't remember anything after this, really. But I just knew that, okay, if he's playing this, then he obviously knows something about the line.
Yeah.
But my next two moves seemed very logical. I wanted to play bishop d3, a3 to stop knight b4, and knight h4 at some point. And okay, I got exactly what I wanted. And then his mistake was on move 18, and this was basically a mistake that lost him the game. He had to play knight c7 because you need to put your knight on d5. And after a4 now, you can play a5. And in contrast with the game, I don't get to fix his pawn on a7. Like, his pawn gets to a4 if I ever take on b5, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The reason he
sense.
rejected this was certainly because of bishop takes g6, and he just missed bishop takes h2. Like, 100% sure that he missed bishop h2, king h2, queen d6.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have gone for this because I think I'm probably worse here.
Yeah.
And I would play a4, and he gets a much better version of the game.
Yeah.
He played king f8. The only reason to play this is to avoid bishop g6, so he just missed bishop takes h2, right? And then we go back. Now we go forward a few moves. Rook a5 is a very important move I fix. I don't allow him to get a5, a4. Now his pawn a6 looks kind of defended, but after I play c4 in the future, it'll become a weakness.
Yeah.
g3 very important. And then this bishop e2, very important move on move 25. I really need the bishop on f3. And then h4, I think very nice move. I was very happy with that one. This idea of rook h1. And to open up the king side, he got scared. He wanted to trade queens. It was a mistake. And then bishop g5 and rook c1 also very... I didn't even realize that this was like good. I mean, bishop g5 kind of came naturally because I thought, okay, his rook goes on a light square, and then my other bishop, unopposed bishop, will attack it. Rook d c8, and then I was like, okay, what do I do next? So I thought I should switch to rook c1 and c4, and yeah, and then everything like this rook b5, okay, it wasn't necessary, but it was also the most clinical way and basically I played a perfect game. It was
Oh,
actually
this was nice. This was a nice game. Yeah.
yeah. So I was super confident after this game in this match. I was thinking, okay, I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lose the next game. There's like no way. And then I have a really nice advantage and plenty of time on the clock out of the opening, or not out of the opening, but like at some point, like let's say by move 20, kind of advantage. I'm outplaying him for sure. Um, and then I missed one thing. Okay, I was probably outplaying it a bit, but I missed when I played 31 g5. I missed b3. I thought g5 was cleaning up the game, and I just didn't see b3. As soon as I played g5, I was like, wait, what about b3? And
Because now the knight is not going to e5 anymore. Yeah, that makes
yeah, and I
sense.
have to go for an endgame, which is still better for black. I understood this, but it's very confusing because it's not like there's a lot of potential for white, and the main reason why is because my kingside pawns are extremely weak, and his knights actually have good squares to go to.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go for this, and we were getting low on time.
Yeah.
And also bishop a4 was a mistake. I realized after I played, I was like, wait, it probably wasn't a good decision to trade off those pieces. I thought trading pieces like gets me closer to the goal, which is a draw. Maybe if I was playing for a win, I would have played something like d5, and then he would actually be under pressure because black is still better.
Yeah.
But then he started to play really well, I think. I definitely made some mistakes. We were getting low on time, and it was just a very, very difficult endgame, very complex. So of course we were both making mistakes. We blundered a few times as well. And then at some point he plays g4. I was already thinking I'm out of danger after a5 because I thought my a pawn was running. And then he plays g4 and I just panic. I mean, I don't understand king g7. I was like some vague worry that he'll play check and knight f5 and knight h5 and mate me. But of course the mate takes a long time to get, so rook b2, like out of danger because his king is also in some sort of perpetual net, and
Yeah.
it's very unlikely that he'll win this. King g7, and then he destroys me.
Yeah.
So then I have to play an Armageddon against him. Not what I wanted, but luckily he went for a line which I checked very recently. And I just, I was never in danger in this game. I just knew the line. He played this b3 move. Move 12, it was played in some correspondence games. And the point is if I take with the pawn on d6, then he gets c4, and this is kind of...
Yes, it's funny because I was watching this game with Maxim. This was, I believe, right after the tournament has finished. And we were in the players area, and Magnus, Arnish, Wesley, I think they were giving autographs just before or after the closing ceremony, and we had some free time just waiting for the buses to come and pick us up and take us back to the hotel. And MVL pulled his phone and he was like, let me check on my boy. And I was like, who's your boy? And he was like, for this one is Jules. And I was like, let me check on my boy. So we were both watching the match, and I think this is exactly when we tuned in at this time in the exchange Rui Lopez, and I was like, okay, there's no way you get outplayed in this one. It's just, there's very, very few people that can outplay you in this line, if any. And I was pretty sure that he doesn't have enough resources to put any problems. Did you feel like...
Yeah, I wasn't too worried also. Because I know these positions relatively well. Like it's almost always these endgames where white has the pawn majority, black has the two bishops. They're almost always good for black, and not only that, usually people get outplayed with white. Like
Yeah.
I've seen so many games. I was looking through all the games in these typical endgames recently. White just always gets outplayed. It's kind of remarkable. So I think it's because white's ideas they're not very clear. You can't really play for f4. It doesn't really give white anything. H4, he played also putting a piece on f4. If you could trade dark square bishops, then we're maybe talking.
Mm-hmm.
But since you can't really do that, since black will never oblige, and it's not clear what white is aiming for here, and black has so many useful little moves. You can play b6, king b7, trading rooks is good for black. At some point, you try to play c4, and then we're no longer talking about like having doubled pawns. So I felt very, very comfortable. I only felt like I wasn't sure if the c6 was the right move, because of course I can play something else. But I thought when I played c6, I thought this knight b6, knight a4, like it fixes my pawns, but he's also not doing anything with the knight there. And that's what we got. But then, like, I can't really do anything on the queen side, but neither can he. So I was thinking, okay, my play is much easier. That's why I went for it.
When he played knight d3 and you exchanged on d3, that's when MVL was starting to see some chances for white. Like knight takes d3, c takes d3.
This is when I was like, this is over.
This,
Because
that's so funny.
I understand what he thought, because it looks like black can with the pawn on d3, black can't play c4.
Right.
So black's done on the queen side. Like black can never do anything on the queen side.
Exactly.
But I don't need to win this game. So if you ever bring your knight away from a4, then I'll play bishop e7, b5.
Yeah.
And on the king side, I mean, I have, like, what are you going to do? You have one piece there. I have two bishops that aim for the king side. You have no pawn breaks besides g4. I was not at all concerned. And I think rightly so, because I don't think there was even the slightest bit of danger.
No, I think you had full control in this one.
Yeah, I would think that, like, normally speaking, if white tries to win this position, then you more risk getting worse, because then you have to bring your knight away. Black gets b5, a4, c4 ideas, and the pawns on the queen side are kind of weak, right? Black still has the light square bishop, which can start to capture a lot of pawns.
Yeah, which he
actually
did.
kind of
He actually got he got worse. Yeah. Yeah. King
I was never
c3.
thinking about winning this. Like, I had moments when I thought, okay, maybe I'm winning, but I didn't bother thinking about it at all, because why? I mean, a draw is a win. Why do I care?
I mean,
So
he offered
also
you a
offered
draw in a losing position, and there's no internet ratings that you have to worry about too much. Yeah, a draw
Well,
is
there
fine.
is, but I don't see what the rapid rating gives. Like, it's not for qualification. I don't know what the rapid rating is for. I'm not even
Yeah.
sure if they rate Armageddon games. So
Yeah, no. And after that, of course, you played, I believe, Jordan. You won that one in the Armageddon as well, and then you kind of booked your tickets for another rematch with Abdusatorov, now from a different position. You've been in his position against Hikaru last tournament in Division 1, last championship round in Division 1. And, and I think you mentioned it on the broadcast as well, that he obviously has the upper hand. He's probably the favorite, but if you win the first match, then from a psychological perspective, you become the favorite.
yeah, maybe. It was a match that really could have gone my way. At least the first one. Obviously, I didn't get to the second one, so we can't say about that. But I just didn't make the most of my chances in the first two games. And yeah, there was like 3 games that I can regret. One game I think was excellent, or I came back with a win third round, third game. The first game I was just winning, and I was outplaying him from the start. But his resilience is really remarkable. He is putting up a lot of resistance and finding the only chances when it gets bad. And
you've played him quite a few times now. You've played him in Tata Steel. Like, you know his style. Rapid, blitz, classical. He's definitely a very good player. Would you say that he's probably one of the best juniors out there right now? If not, actually, let's say the best junior out there.
Okay, are we counting Ali Reza?
No, I don't even think Ali Reza is. Is he a junior still? Is he still under 20?
Junior under 21. I mean,
I thought under 20.
Ali Reza's 19, yes. Right?
Yeah, which is kind of ridiculous.
Okay, I mean, here's the thing. Ali Reza, we kind of
he's established
consider a top player.
Yeah.
So let's say Ali Reza has kind of elevated himself above the other junior players. For me, Noterbeck is like clear, just like a step behind Ali Reza, let's say, because still Ali Reza has won tournaments, but in terms of their actual strength, it's very, very close. I wouldn't say that Ali Reza is like head and shoulders above him, but Ali Reza has won Grand Chess Tour and he's played Candid, so of course he is we have to say, obviously, just by
Well,
the
he's
numbers,
also
better
like
player.
50 rating points above him, right? And 50
Yeah,
very
no,
difficult
Ali
rating points
Reza.
above him.
Okay, these things can change. That's why I'm only. But yeah, for sure, Ali Reza. He's already been 2,800 for, let's say, over a year or almost 2 years, or close to 2,800. But besides that, Noterbeck, like clearly, I think. Okay, I don't know if it's clear. I mean, there is Gukesh, but I think Noterbeck is a better player at the moment. Um, and I don't know. It's just a feeling I have, but it's not based on rating because Gukesh is higher rated. But it's a feeling I have, and it might be wrong. Uh, of course, we shouldn't fully conflate rapid chess and classical chess. There's a difference. Uh, but in rapid, he's really, really dangerous. I mean, he did win the Rapid World Championship in 2021. I think, okay, it's clear. Noterbeck and Gukesh are at the moment, like from the junior players.
And
Gukesh
it
is a bit younger.
also
They're the top two.
and it also feels like they know they belong at that level. And I think that feeling and that confidence is something that if you don't have, and you if you don't have it, you don't have it. Basically, they have that X factor, and it feels like these are the two players that have it right now. Gukesh, I mean, he's been confirming during the last classical matches, classical tournaments, more or less, that is still VR Masters. And then obviously Nodirbeck, he's been confirming in pretty much every event that he's playing also. So
I think Abdus Satarov didn't do well in the WR Masters, right? That's the one thing I can think of. But in Tada, he was very, very close to winning the tournament. Okay, he lost that last round again. I mean, kind of silly way to not win the tournament, but he didn't win the tournament. But he was super close, right?
yeah,
But he didn't do well, and didn't he like score a minus in WR Masters?
maybe -1. Yeah, I think he scored
Yeah.
-1, something along those lines.
Well, okay, Gukesh, I think, scored +2, tied with Jan, tied with Levon.
Yeah,
Gukesh is very good.
he's
It's
also
also
younger.
like, from my perspective, right? I'm going to have a bit of a bias because I play against them, and depending on individual results, I'll have a slightly different bias. And so, because I'm coming off a match loss against Abdusattar, I might have a slight bias that he's better because I beat Gukesh in Tata Steel. You know, like these things are sometimes somewhat individual, which is why my perspective might be flawed. But that's why I would like rate Noterbeck a bit higher at the moment. Of course, yeah, it could be flawed, and I think we should mostly look at ratings. They're basically the same rating, right? So they must be very close in strength.
I was having a similar discussion with the guys after the Grand Chess Tour in Poland at the dinner with Anish, and I believe it was Kirill Shevchenko, who's around 2,700, close to 20 years of age, if not already 20 years of age. And we were discussing how good juniors have to be to more or less make it into the elite. And I was kind of gauging, I think Anish was saying that when he was 18 or 19, he was already 2780. Basically, he made it. MVL was something very, very similar to that. And Anish said that Kasparov actually told him that. Basically, when he reached 18 years of age, he told him that right now you have about 2 years. If you don't make it 2780, basically to the top 10 elite level players, then you're not going to make it. Good luck. That's
okay. Wait, just one thing.
Yes.
Like Anish, he said he was 2780 at the age of what?
I think 19. I think
So wait,
he
what
said
year
he
would
made.
that be?
Well, right now he's what,
2013?
28? Yeah, 2013, I think.
Because I played him in 2013 in Paris, the Paris Grand Prix. And he was like 2730.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know, like he might have gained a lot of rating after that, so of course, but I think he only reached like the top level at 2015. That's when I remember it, and I might have a fault or like a inaccurate memory of this, but I think so.
Yeah, I think his idea was basically that you have to make it before you turn 20 or something along those lines. Like somewhere around that age If you've
Okay.
made it to like the top 10, then you're probably going to stay there. You're going to have staying power. But if you don't, then it's very, very difficult to climb.
Okay, so let's look at like the current guys and see how much time they have to get to top 10 based on Anish's criteria. So obviously Alireza is there. He got there early.
Yes.
Gukesh has, you said 24 years, right? To get to top 10.
And I think this is not Anish's, this is Gary's. That's basically what
Gary.
Gary told him. Gary told Anish.
Okay. So Gukesh has 4 years basically to gain 10 rating points.
That's good.
Hopefully he can do that. And Noterbeck has 2 years basically to gain 10 to 15 rating points as well. Which, like, okay, I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if Noterbeck and Gukesh do not break top 5 sometime within the next, let's say, 3 years. I mean, it's not a
top
guarantee,
5.
but
wow, that's
I
big.
don't know. Just like at some point, like not that they consistently stay there, but at some point they break into top 5. I mean, this is not even a shocking thing, no?
Yeah.
Like there's people who definitely have much less, let's say, natural gift for the game, or whose progress was much slower, who broke into top 5 at some point, because ratings are a bit volatile, and I think that's conservative. I mean, top 5 means that, let's say they hit 2775 at some point in the next 3 years. It's not a shocking thing if they do, right?
Of course not.
That they gain 40 points more or less in the next 3 years. And, now it's unpredictable. Do they stay there or not? Who knows? I mean, when we started our podcast, I kind of predicted Arjun would be the best among the juniors. And currently by rating, that's not the case. I think he's very, very strong. But you never know, right? You can make some predictions. They might be right, they might be wrong.
Okay, wait. Arjun just actually broke back into the 2700 sphere. He had a decent performance at Sharjah. He actually won.
Well, he
Sharjah.
won Sharjah.
Yeah.
But he won it in a way which was he won it in like the Swiss Gambit sort of way.
Correct. He only won
0.7, and then he won his last 4 of his last 5.
Yeah. So he didn't win that much rating. He's still only 2701, and he's 19. So he needs to push the pedal right now.
So according to Gary, he has a year.
He
has to gain 80 rating points.
He needs to push the pedal right now. Okay, come on, Arjun, you can do it.
Yeah, if we're going by Gary's criteria, he's in a bit of a time scramble at the moment.
Yes.
That being said, like I don't really prescribe to the same idea. I don't really agree with it. I think Levon was at the age of 18, like just became a grandmaster, and then
Levon was the exception. We discussed about it, and we said that Levon was definitely an exception.
Yeah, that's a pretty big exception, no?
He's a big exception.
What about some other guys like Richie? Richie was not top 10 by the time he was 20. No way, absolutely no way.
I'll tell you. So right now he's 27. That means
in 2016 he was top 10. Absolutely no way. He was probably not even 2700.
He was number 17, 2752 at age 20.
Okay. Yeah, he was actually, I didn't realize he was that high rated, but
yeah. No, he actually made, just before he finished his junior year, he was 2700 about that, and 2693, and jumped quite high, like 60 rating points in a few lists.
Yeah.
He made it by, well, I think 2750 is safe to say that if you manage to maintain 2750, I think it's safe to say that you made it.
Okay, Richie definitely did not maintain it though.
He did not, no. He actually dropped to 2675 in the next 2 years.
Yeah, he had a bit of a rocky period for sure. I also think he wasn't playing too much.
Yeah.
at some point. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, yeah, everyone else I'm looking at, of course, it's like Magnus, Ding, Ferrugia. Okay, Jan is actually exception. Jan is the exception.
He is.
Uh, in 20, Jan was 20 in 2010, right?
Yes.
What was his rating in 2010? I think it was around 2700.
In 2010, he was 20. Oh, actually, he was not that high. 2656.
Yeah,
Okay.
because this is what I
May
remember.
2010, 2695, and then January 2011, 2733. So he was still 20 at that point. Okay, so at age 20, he made it to 2730.
Because okay, so this is what I remember. I was playing Dortmund in 2015, and in the first round I play Jan, and we had played a long time ago in 2006, and he's a few years older than me, in a tournament in Kirishi, which is like a town 2 hours outside St. Petersburg, and very like not a known place at all, like pretty much middle of nowhere. But the first time that we played as adults, from what I remember, was 2015 Dortmund, and I remember playing him in the first round, and basically he was like a guy I should beat with black. And because he was like low 2700s, and I thought, okay, I should be beating low 2700s with black at that time. Now I kind of viewed it a bit differently, but at the time, low 2700s were kind of guys you need to beat with either color. And we made a draw, and that was 2015, so he was already 25. He was not considered a top player. I think he became a top player around 2018. I think that's more or less when I remember him becoming like more or less 2770 to 80 sort of player.
No, he had a late bloom. Yeah, late bloom for sure. In 2017, he was 2767. So that's very, very decent, right? Age 26. Mm-hmm. That's when he became world number 11 at that point.
Well, do you remember in December 2017, there was a London Classic? I tied for first with him, +3, both of us. You probably remember the event, right?
Yes.
And I beat him in a playoff.
Yes.
He was 2730 something, like 35.
2729. Yeah. No, he went into a slump at that point. Like in December 2017, he was into a slump.
He did like a live stream of the candidates in 2018. I think he'll go on his Twitch channel or something. And
on
going from that point forward. Sorry?
On chess.com, I think he was part of the commentator team.
Are you sure?
Maybe. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No, but I think that was the point when he started to work on his chess seriously. Because he probably didn't take it as seriously as some other guys prior to that. But then 2018 forward, and 2019 he qualified for the candidates. 2020 he won the candidates. Of course, a lot of it is circumstance, right? It's we can discuss what if the candidates hadn't been postponed halfway. What if Maxime had after beating Jan had the tournament had continued and Jan might have tilted, right? We can discuss all those things, but when he became a top player, was definitely close to the age of 30. So definitely a late bloomer if you count it that way.
Yeah. No, I mean Gary's criteria is very difficult to be satisfied. Yeah.
But besides those two, Levon and I think it is kind of accurate. But I mean,
how about MVL? How about MVL?
No, Maxime. I played him in 2010. We were both 2700. He was actually he was
2720 in 2010.
Okay, so he was already 20 and he wasn't top 10, and I was around 2710. I was more or less same rating as him.
Yeah, top 20 at age 20.
Well, it's very hard to say because like in 2011, I'm playing Beal and I play Magnus there, and I don't do very well on Beal, and I forget who wins. Maybe it's Magnus, maybe it's someone else, but I don't do very well, and I'm around 2710 at that point. 2011, so I was 19, right?
Yeah.
And basically around that time, nobody was obviously 19 and 27, kind of 20, 30 player is pretty good, but nobody's thinking that I'm like a top player. But the next year I was 2790. So I broke into like top five to three in the world around 20 as well. So I guess my path was kind of consistent with Gary's
You make it.
formula. Yeah.
No, and Anish was actually 2750 at 19 and then 2790 at 20. Like he broke quite fast into that.
Yeah, Anish was a prodigy. I mean, for sure. The thing is that his peak was not like he didn't peak as high as some of the other players of our generation. Like let's say Wesley, Maxime, even Ding. They peaked a bit higher than Anish. Like if of course he did actually. I don't think he ever broke 2800
Not
officially, but he
officially,
did break a
no.
lot.
Live,
He
yeah,
did break
not
a lot.
officially. 2798 was his live peak.
Yeah, it's still pretty exclusive as 2800.
It is.
Like
it
if you
is.
think in the last 5 years, who is the one new person who broke 2800? I can only think of
It's Ali Reza and Ding, right?
Ding in the last 5 years.
Wasn't he 2800 like just a few months ago?
No,
No, he
no,
was
but I
the-
mean like for the first time, because I'm sure he was 2800 before that.
I don't think so. Was he?
100%. Come on.
Really?
In 2018, 2019, he was definitely 2800 both those years. Maybe 2017. I don't know.
Huh. So Ding was really good. Oh yeah, he was November 2018, 2816. Yeah, Ding was really good.
Yeah, I don't know about before that.
For whatever reason, I never realized how good was Ding.
Yeah, I think Ding was not very he was never dominant in tournaments. Like he hasn't won many tournaments. That's true, but his rating has always been pretty consistently high.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But
I guess
think
Ali
he was
Reza,
just
yeah?
the only new guy, because Jan didn't manage to break it. Like by 0.2 of a point, Jan did not manage to break 2800.
It's pretty sad.
And basically by one game, and now it will take a while for Jan to catch up to 2800, the distance that he would be close to 2800 again, because he's quite far at the moment.
You
But
crushed
if you think
his
about it,
dream.
it's very limited, right? Okay, Magnus, Kasparov, Levon, Topalov, Mamet, Wesley, Vichy, Maxime, Hikaru, Kramnik, Ding, Grishuk, and Ali Reza.
And yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a lot of people. Impressive stuff. All right, so I guess yeah, join the conversations. Tell us who you think is going to be the next one to break into the elite by Gary's standards. All right, what's next?
The interesting question is who will be the next person to be 2800 as well?
Okay.
For the first time. Like not guys who
it can be anybody. It can be anybody. All right.
Yeah.
So
it can't be anybody, you know? It's not like
it can be Anish.
Like Duda is not going to be breaking 2800 anytime soon, right? I mean, Yu Yang Yi is not going to break 2800 anytime soon.
No.
So Anish is maybe Anish and Jan are two possibilities, right?
But Anish is far. I give momentum much more credit and much more weight when it comes to who's going to be able to do it.
Okay, so here's a question for you. Would you, if you had to put money on, you had to pick 1 out of 3 people, or 1 out of 4. You can either pick Jan, Anish from like the old school guys. I mean, not old school, but you know, established guys. Or you could pick one of either Noterbeck or Gukesh. You can pick one of those 4 to break 2800.
That's super tough. All right, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go with Abdusatorov. Recency bias. I'm having recency bias. He's really doing well. Well, he just beat you, so.
You know what? I'm still going to go with Jan.
You're still going to go with Jan. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course the young, like to do it next. Of course, the young guys at some point they probably will in their career. But to be the next one to do it, if he gets some momentum going, like okay, for me it's either he might be despairing. He might have a crisis in his career, or if he recovers, he might get that momentum going, and he can actually pile up a lot of wins in a way
I can see
that, for
that.
example, Anish doesn't seem to be. He doesn't like pile up a lot of wins in a tournament, right? He can do very good, +2 here, +1 there, but +5, I've never seen Anish do this.
I can see that. No, I can definitely see that. And it's again, I feel like I'm having recency bias by not picking Jan also, because he was like literally half a point behind 2800. But
2/10.
obviously he
2/10 of a
can
point.
he can also collapse. But at the same time, it just feels like there's peaks and valleys with him. So now he had, let's say, more of a valley, but definitely he can pick it up and get back to it. So yes, Nepo, also he has like 40 points rating advantage over the youngsters. So he's a safe bet. Okay, you pick Nepo, I pick Abdus Satorov.
Yeah.
We'll talk in.
Well, we're not actually. Maybe nobody will do it.
Maybe it's
Because
gonna be
there is
Gukesh.
rating deflation, so we might actually see like very few people break into 2800 for a long time.
Yeah,
Because everyone's low rated. That's the thing. So it's harder to get there.
there was a funny tweet by Agard. He said that basically right now there is an obvious rating deflation, and if you're not losing rating, then you're doing well for yourself.
Yeah, everyone has lost rating. If you, besides obviously Ali Reza, but if you compare to, if you look at the rating list like 2017, because I remember this race in 2017 when I was had to qualify for candidates, and I'm competing for the rating spot. That's the only real chance that we have because the World Cup is just finished and none of us have made it in the World Cup. So the rating spot, 2 spots, is contested between 3 players. It's Kramnik, Wesley, and me, and we're all 2800. and 2800, like 2810 was not enough to get the rating spot. It was a huge fight, and finally I think Wesley and I got it, and Kramnik with his 2800 rating did not get the rating spot, and he had to settle for a wild card, which also qualifies. But if you look up the 2017 rating list,
it's crazy. I remember those races. They were absolutely insane.
everyone was 2800. And you know what? Magnus was also lower. He was actually quite close to like all of us. Like we were
What was
within
it, like 2830?
I mean, depending on the year, but I think in 2017 there were times when he was within like 10 points striking distance of a few people.
Yeah.
2015 as well. He was okay. I think part of the reason is also because these days people play less classical, so ratings tend to stay pretty like not very volatile. If Magnus and everyone else was playing like 7 classical events a year, then I think we might see a bit more up and down. But he plays like Enze, almost always scores a decent plus. Maybe he loses 4 rating points at the most, or he gains 4 rating points, something like that. And then he doesn't play until Norway Chess, and he might not even play. Who knows if he'll play another classical event this year? Yeah, maybe World Cup, maybe not.
Yeah. No. Speaking of Magnus, he did really well. Just won the second leg of the Grand Chess Tour in Warsaw, Poland. That was fun. I was there. I was doing some commentary from on site, and I have to say it was a lot of fun. Always I find these Rapid and Blitz tournaments extremely entertaining, and this did not disappoint. Magnus started super slowly, -1 after the first couple of days, I think, and it looked like he's not even going to be close to the podium. And then day 3 came, and he scored, I believe, 2.5 out of 3. Could have easily been 3 out of 3. He missed pretty decent chances against Rapport in the last round, and that was the rapid portion, last day of rapid portion. But you could see that his form is coming back. And generally when that happens, everybody knows that he's about to string some wins. He's generally very good when
I saw
he
this
finds his
coming.
shape. You saw it, yeah?
I mean, the thing is, people were like, I saw the news. Okay, it's like, okay, he loses his first game against Wojtaszek, and I see the news like, okay, it's all over. Magnus is done. And then I like look at the kind of lineup, and I see, okay, his score is -1. Yeah, it's not great. But then the last day he's playing Kirill Shevchenko, he's playing Deak, players who are very good, but who I wouldn't be surprised if he beats, like he just wins 3 rapid games in a row.
Yeah.
Scores like +1, +2 in rapid, which is what happened. He scored +1 finally, and I like, how is this not striking distance? I mean, you're playing 18 blitz games. How is this not striking distance? Like, uh, it is, of course, a bit of a mountain to climb if he was, let's say, 3 points back, right? After rapid.
3 points compared
It's
to
a bit of
Duda.
a mountain to climb. But I was not even slightly surprised that that he ended up winning. I mean, it's not a huge deficit, right? 3 points, you have a bad half an hour and you lose your 3 point advantage, right? This is probably what happened to Duda. He just had like 3 bad rounds, and basically he was overtaken at some point.
And actually, you've done the same thing last year, more or less. Like you were, I think, 4 points behind the leader going into the blitz section, and then you piled up like a gazillion wins in the blitz.
Yeah, my score is. I actually had this thought because my score in blitz was identical to Magnus's score, plus 10. My score last year was identical to Magnus's score this year. And the difference was that in rapid, he scored +1 and I scored -1. And this is why I think, had that understanding that basically the rapid score is nothing, no disaster, because even with -1, I had decent chances to win. Like, if just a few results had changed, I would have been in the fight for first place. I mean, I was kind of in the fight for first place, but I would have potentially won that tournament. Of course, +10 in blitz doesn't happen every day, but it can happen, right? You just need to have a good day. And anyone can have a good day, but especially Magnus can have a very good day. So that he goes +10 in blitz, I'm not even like super surprised. I mean, I did it, and I'm like the worst blitz player in the world, right? So why is it shocking if Magnus does it? It's like, obviously there's some kind of inconsistency in people's view of us if Magnus can't score +10 in blitz.
Only prep, bro. Only prep.
Yeah, it was a prep. I thought it was funny. Something happened. I think in this last tournament, I won some game, and oh yeah, it was the Marshall. So I like decided to play the Marshall against Jules and against Jordan, because I was a bit worried that, okay, if they're going for the Rui Lopez, then they want to crap something against the Archangel, which I've been playing recently. So I'm like, okay, I of course, I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what they have prep, but it's a 2-game match and you might not come back from a loss. So I'm not that curious. I'd rather, they tell me rather than show me over the board what they want to do against me. So I decided to prepare the Marshall, because you just can't prepare anything. I mean, it's such a safe opening. You get slightly worse, that's the worst outcome in the Marshall, even if you know nothing. And I basically, it's not like I'm a super expert in this opening. I kind of have general basic knowledge. And so I'm playing Jules with black, and he plays a sideline, but like a very old and very well-known, well-played sideline. And I kind of make a few natural moves like H6, Rook E8, Bishop F8. And Donnie's like, oh my God, this preparation is fantastic. I'm like, I played H6, Rook E8, and Bishop F8. I mean, this is like if if you play the maneuver Knight D2, Knight F1, Knight G3 in any sort of Spanish position, like their mind is blown. Like, how could he have come up with this prep? I mean, it's never been seen before. I was like, okay. And I think that this exact position that we had was probably played like 2,000 times. I mean, it wasn't Terra Nova. It was
amazing prep.
I feel like people are having fun with it now.
I think so too. He was probably trolling. I would assume he was probably trolling.
Maybe.
Or maybe he was just trying to get some some one-liners out there. Anyway, yeah, that was that was definitely an inspiring, not necessarily, okay, the performance was amazing, but I want to say the tournament was very inspiring as well from a spectator's point of view, and the point of view of somebody that's involved in chess, not necessarily as a chess player like myself, but just within the chess ecosystem, because I have to say that the audience in Poland is absolutely ridiculous. You've been there, you've seen the auditorium being packed, but this year was something else. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they're targeting their audience very well. So they found, and especially during COVID, I think there were a few social media guys that kind of exploded in the chess world, and like YouTubers, streamers, things of that nature, and they've used those people very, very well in the organization of this tournament. So they had this huge chess set in the biggest square of, or like the crowdest corner in Warsaw. And they had these YouTubers come and play on it, giant chess pieces. That was before the tournament started. And they had a QR code next to the board. And everybody that was coming to see the games were scanning that QR code. And that's like, you know, an app that you can probably build with like $10. And through the QR code, they were getting involved into the tournament. Like they were seeing basically all the information about the tournament. They had some interactive games that they could play, you know, fantasy type of situations, fantasy chess type of situations. So they gamified the experience very well, and that definitely hit another audience in Poland. And I think that they're definitely, you know, up there as the drivers of you know, the next generation of chess fans. So it was very, very cool to see. Packed auditorium, again, not only that you didn't find any seats, but next to the seats there were also a lot of people just staying. So yeah, very impressive scenes from Poland, I have to say.
Yeah, I saw the crowds. They were pretty big.
Yeah, like one of those moments where I was thinking, yeah, we've probably made it as the chess community. Like we're actually a very serious, entertaining spectator sport right now, or at least we're on the right track to get there. So that was cool to see, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, also in Romania, right? The crowds were pretty impressive.
Yes, in Romania as well. But in Poland, they were a bit more engaged. And, you know, probably it helps that Duda won it last year, huge hero, local hero there. So definitely that helps. But still, it was kind of interesting to see and encouraging.
Duda's an interesting player, right? I mean, he's not super high rated, but he does tend to have some pretty big results at times.
Yeah, especially rapid and blitz.
He does seem to be, but he doesn't have like here. Why isn't he playing the Champions Chess Tour ever? He doesn't play a single event.
I spoke with him actually about it, and I'm trying to remember his explanation.
Is he worried about cheating? Is that what, like, he doesn't just
no. Well, the second this one, the one that just finished, he couldn't play because of this.
Yeah.
Basically, he knew that he's playing the Grand Chess Tour, and he said that he's not even going to try because even if he qualifies, he's not going to be able to play. So for this one, he didn't try. Why didn't he try for the previous players?
There was no Grand Chess Tour, right?
Yeah. Well, so definitely during Tata Steel, he had some, and wasn't the play-ins immediately after Tata Steel?
Some time after, I forget.
So he withdrew from Tata Steel, and mostly because of health reasons. And I
so
think
he was
perhaps that was continuing even after, and that's why he didn't play it.
And then
but
after that, he was like, "Screw it, I'm too far behind anyway."
maybe,
But,
maybe.
yeah, I guess so. I was just surprised to not see him there because he obviously excels quite a bit. I thought maybe he's like worried about cheating. Like sometimes people
No,
uh,
no, no, no,
get
no.
just don't want to deal with the risk, or they get worried that someone's going to cheat. And um, like for me in 2021, that's why I didn't play most online events, because I was like, okay, I'm paranoid, rightly or wrongly, that people are cheating, and I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
Now I'm not really paranoid anymore, and also if someone decides to cheat against me, then I'll never know about it. I'm like, okay, this comes with the territory, right? You have to take the risk. Otherwise, you just don't get a chance to play a lot of these online events, which are potentially pretty rewarding. So, but I wasn't sure. I was actually curious because I noticed that he hadn't been present in any of the events.
yeah, yeah. No, he had an explanation, and it wasn't that he doesn't want to play. Just the scheduling didn't work out very well, and some other outside interferences. But yeah, so that's that with the Grand Chess Tour. You're not leading, but you are more or less leading. So right now you won Super Bet. That's 13 points. I think Wesley is on something along the lines of 15.25. And then Duda is on 14.5, but both of these players have like 2 tournaments behind them. So you have an opportunity to overcome them in Croatia. Obviously, very, very good spot for you after winning Romania.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
I should
Rich
just
is
keep up some
doing... No,
consistency.
never mind. Rich is not doing that
No,
well.
besides me, the best player performing is Wesley.
Wesley, very typical
He's
of
had 2
him.
consistent, decent results. Besides that, no, he also has performed. And Ali Reza, we don't know because he's played one event like me. Ding and Jan are both quite far behind.
Yeah.
Anish had a good first result, but after his second one, his points are not super high. Richie's doing a bit better than Anish, but only a little bit better. Maxime, yeah, also didn't have a great super bet. So, Jan Christoph Duda is, I mean,
he could have
he's
done
doing
very
quite
well, right? Well, actually, he's still doing quite well, but Magnus stole a lot of points. Magnus got the
Yeah, that's
13
true.
points.
Magnus winning was not good for a lot of the guys because especially for
He's a
Duda,
wild
like
card.
a first place finish would have meant quite a lot in terms of points.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
10 is still very good. 10 points he gets for his second place, but not the same.
Yeah, no, very, very, very good. But you have to do well in Croatia, where Magnus is going to play as well.
Yeah. Magnus plays Croatia, but look at Wesley's consistency. He's always consistent. He does not have bad results. He doesn't have amazing results, and he doesn't have bad results.
+1 or +2?
those
are his
he's scoring a
finishes.
plus.
Yeah.
And he scored a very, very solid plus, and it's like, what did he score? I think in Blitz he probably scored more or less like +1, and in Rapid also like +2, something like that.
Well, off the top of your head, can you remember the last time he lost in Classical?
Okay, wait. Yes, against Christopher Yu in the US Championship.
That was a long time ago. That was October 2022.
What was the last? Okay.
No, I'm just saying that's a long time ago.
No, but it wasn't. I mean, it was a long time ago in terms of time, but it wasn't a long time ago in terms of the amount of events he's played. Because he played that, he played Tata, and then he played the American Cup. That's it. Classical events. And the American Cup doesn't even count as classical. I mean,
Tata still is a long event.
Oh yeah, but okay. It's not, I mean, it's still like it's not 100 games, 13 games, right? Okay, he hasn't lost a game for, let's say, 25 games, maybe.
Yes, maybe
30
along those lines. Yeah.
A bunch of players have gone on streaks Let's look up longest. I'm just curious about this.
Well,
Longest.
Wesley had one of the longest ones.
I'm just
I
curious
think he
about the
was-
longest streaks in general because yeah, Wesley definitely had.
I think he was about 80.
Yeah, and obviously Ding and Magnus. Longest unbeaten streak. Bogdan Lalich, 155 games. Okay, so
Okay, but that's not.
okay, so name a few. Wait, I think we can find like the full list because I just see. This used to be a thing when Magnus was on some kind of long streak of having not lost. Then they were kind of compiling all the players who had long streaks. But name some other guys who have had long streaks of not losing.
I see Kramnik. I see Wang Yu.
Oh, you're looking it up.
Yes.
I thought you.
No. I cannot remember these ones. Obviously, I remember Anish's one. I think he had a big long streak as well, like 50.
Anish did? Really?
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
think 50 plus. And back in the days, I guess 50 were quite a lot of games, and they still are without losses.
Like Tal's had a very long one.
Tal, yes.
But I think Magnus was like 100 something. Ding was also 100 something.
Yes.
I wonder what mine was. I think mine was probably like. I had something, but probably only like 60.
So
Maybe my
Magnus
one-
was 125, and I'm reading CNN. So if it's fake news, don't blame me. But 125 games.
Was it 125 really? Oh, I didn't
Yes.
realize it was so long.
Yes, that was Magnus.
I once had a tournament where I got completely overshadowed by this whole thing because it was Vikensay 2020, and like every single day, the only thing that any like chess news would talk about was Magnus's non-losing streak is continuing. He hasn't lost a game, and I think it continued throughout that tournament. He didn't lose a game. And then, like, meanwhile, I won the tournament. I'm like, no, nobody wants to talk about it.
Nobody cares. No. Sorry.
Fair.
Sorry, it is what it is. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, we've discussed a lot, but we do have to discuss Norway Chess because we're actually leaving tomorrow to Norway. You're going there from Spain. I'm going there from Romania, and we'll connect in Stavanger. Is that how you pronounce? Or Stavanger? Stavanger? I'm going to say Stavanger. I think that's what it is.
Stavanger?
Stavanger. It's definitely not Stavanger.
No, it's not Stavanger.
So somebody said
Stavanger.
Stavanger at some point. I want to say Stavanger, but all right. Big tournament. A lot of people are very excited about it. The field is extremely compact and definitely very intriguing. You have Magnus, you have yourself, you have Hikaru, which a lot of people are very excited to see. He's not playing a lot of classical chess. Ali Reza, Anish, Wesley, Shakhriyar. I haven't seen Shakhriyar play in a long time. Abdusatorov, Gukesh. So there you go. Those two players that we were discussing as the potential next big 2800s. We're going to see what's going to happen. And then you have Aryan, who is the local boy and will have a difficult time establishing his presence because, he's, without any disrespect, he's only like 2650, only 2670. So he's definitely going to have a very steep mountain to climb.
I'm looking at this graphic, and could they have done a worse job? Like the graphic of the players?
It's terrible, yes.
I mean, it's actually brilliant because first of all, none of us have the same consistency in terms of like lighting. Like Noterbeck is actually
Noterbeck
fading.
is in the shadows. Yes, yes, yes.
It looks like
it's a funny one. Let me see
like
if I can find it.
it reminds me of the Avengers. What was the one where they disintegrate? It
Let me
looks like
see if I
he's
can
about
find it.
to disintegrate, to turn into dust like all those people in the Avengers. And like we're all different sizes too.
Okay,
Like
I'll
Gukesh
show it.
seems like he was like photobombing Anish and Shahryar.
There it is. Norway Chess. Boom. And as you can see, Abdusatorov is a little bit in the shadows.
Why is everyone a different size too? I mean, Noterbeck is so small compared to Magnus, but also like they made me huge by proportions.
Did they?
Like look at my head compared to Hikaru's head. Or is this like a visual trick?
They're kind of the same size, aren't they?
Maybe. But look, also Gukesh.
Also, maybe we're looking at a different graphic, because there's a few out
looking
there.
on their website.
Yeah, I
But
see.
look at Gukesh. He seems like he just snuck in there. Like he doesn't.
He's there. Yes, yes. Gukesh is there. Wesley is very small. That's true. Compared to
Wesley
everybody.
is in the back. We'll put him in the back.
Amazing, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. But yeah, no. Norway, very, very exciting. Super exciting tournament.
And yeah, the format, it's a fun tournament. It's a good mix of players, I think.
I think the format is very exciting also, right?
Actually, it is kind of old guys, except for obviously Gukesh, Noterbeck. It's interesting that we talked about these three juniors, and then they're all here. Ali Reza, Noterbeck, Gukesh.
Yes.
Then old guys, and Aryan is the local hero, if you don't count Magnus, obviously, as a local hero. But Shahryar, a lot of experience. Hikaru also. We almost sometimes tend to forget that these, like Hikaru is nearly, what is he, like 30, 36 years old, something like that?
I think so.
Shahryar, probably 40 at this point, or maybe close to it.
Yes, Shahryar is probably the veteran in this one. Actually, for sure, he's the veteran in this one.
Well, okay, but you would also call, like, I don't know, veteran does Magnus count as a veteran? I think he does, no?
Well, Magnus is 32, or like 33 max.
Yeah, but still,
no, he's 32.
It's about the amount of time you've, like, I've been playing chess for so long. Also Magnus, also Hikaru, like even Anish. Okay, obviously Anish can't be a veteran, but he's also been around for a while.
Yes, it's experience versus youth. No, they definitely put together a very intriguing line of players like Alireza, Satorov, Gukesh, all of these guys, obviously very exciting players. All right, the regulations are very interesting though. So this is a completely different format than what we generally are used to play. 10 players, round robin, 9 rounds, but drawing of the lots, they're doing the Blitz tournament for the seeds, so that's exciting. Nothing is up for chance, which is always a good thing.
And the Armageddon.
And the Armageddon, yes, this is the cool part. So each player will have 120 minutes, so that's 2 hours with 10-second increment after move 40. So you have to make it to move 40 to get that 10-second increment, but you don't get the second time control. And then if the game is a draw, then you're going to go into an Armageddon game. White has 10 minutes, black has 7 minutes increment for both players of 1 second per move. This is the first time that I'm actually getting involved with this type of tournament. You've played it before. This is actually, isn't it Rusty's idea? Rustam's?
Rustam he didn't want to go straight to Armageddon. He wanted to go to rapid chess if a classical game is drawn.
Mm-hmm.
but that really drags it out. They decided to go straight to Armageddon. We've played with this format. The Armageddon is 10 minutes against 7. Unusual Armageddon format too. The 10-second increment we've played before with. It's very difficult because 10 seconds in a classical game is not really any time at all. You can't collect time. Once you get into time trouble, you're there for the rest of the game. So you kind of have to keep it pretty speedy early on. And I think that this actually, it's funny, but their whole system, which seems like it's trying to amp up the excitement as much as possible, is kind of going to lead to risk-averse chess, I feel like. Because the combination of not wanting to get into time trouble, and also the fact that if you draw, it still is like a winning attempt, right? Like you draw and then you go to Armageddon. It will make people maybe a bit, I mean, I can't predict it entirely, but it sometimes does lead to very, very risk-averse chess. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Cool. All right.
You know what else? I just saw.
Yes.
I was on 2700 Chess,
Mm-hmm.
and there's Dubai Open starting today, or it probably just started as well.
That's right.
And Hans is playing again. I mean, the guy, he never stops playing. No? Also, Arjun's playing.
That's true. Actually, we should speak
Hans
about
plays
that for
every tournament. I swear, every single tournament.
All right,
He
2700
played Sharjah.
chess.
He played Baku. He played something before that. He played in Spain, Norca. Then he went to Madrid. He's probably played at least like 5-6 tournaments this year, counting this Dubai Open that's just started.
He's playing a lot. I mean, he wants to abide by Gary's rule. Right now, he's a little bit behind. Not by much, but he's 19, pushing 20. And he's 26.95, so he's been having a rough patch. I don't think, but Baku was a big one. Baku, I think he lost about 20 rating points.
Yeah.
So that was, okay. So he also played this Kazakhstan Chess Cup, but that was Rapid. Was that Rapid?
Yeah, that was Rapid.
No. That was actually not Rapid. That was.
Oh, it was classical too?
So he played that one as well.
Okay, I see his game. He's actually playing a GM in the first round, but he's better. We'll see what happens, how this game develops. He'll probably win. But the volume with which he plays, I'd say I was playing a lot at his age, maybe similar amounts, but
you were playing a lot.
I was playing at some point 120 games a year, but I think he's going to pass that. I mean, it's like I don't know how many games he's played this year already, but who knows?
26.
He's played six events, maybe close to 60 games, right?
No, 50, sorry, 26 events he played since April. So
26 events since April last year?
26 games since April.
26 games. April. I thought you said he's played 26 events since last April.
No. So he played the Kazakhstan Chess Cup, then Baku, then Sharjah, and there's basically like 4 to 7 days break in between these tournaments. And then
he also played 26 games in less than 2 months, so it's pretty impressive.
Correct. Yes, and right now he's playing Baku as well. Minus 12.6. He's sitting at 26.95 right now, and he's definitely looking for that break. That's why he's playing. I mean, to be honest, at this point, this is kind of his way back into the elite level tournaments. Well, there's a couple of ways back. One of them is to win his suit, and the other one is to get to 2730, 2750, and not give organizers the options to exclude him.
I think winning the lawsuit will not get him invitations. I mean, I don't see how the lawsuit is relevant.
It could be.
Why? I mean, the lawsuit's not going to make people invite him. Like, he has to get the rating, right? He has to get 27 for everyone, right? I mean, you have to get 2740 plus.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of competition. Abdusattar and Gukesh are 2730, let's say 2735 or so. They're getting invitations. You have to be around there, otherwise you just won't get them.
I think that's about it. Like top 20, right? 27, 30. Top 20.
Top
That's
20, top 20
probably
will
going
get you
to give you
invitations.
something. Yeah, that's definitely going to give you something. But anything below that, I mean, if you look at the 27 chess list right now, I mean, Le Quang doesn't get invited into as many tournaments. Topalov, Wang Hao, Wei.
But we're talking about young players. I mean,
Correct.
because Topalov, okay, I mean, he's nearly
retired.
50 years old.
He's retired.
He's pretty much retired. I mean, he was a world champion.
Yeah.
Like Wang, also a guy we've known for the past like 15 years, right?
But he's not retired. I mean, Le Quang is definitely not. If he gets invitations, Le Quang is going to play them.
Yeah, but you need to, like, if you're not like a young, like obviously Tatar age, Aragaisi age, Gukesh age, then you need to have a higher rating. Like then you need to be 2770 plus.
Yeah.
If you're 18, then maybe 2740 plus, but 2730 plus, let's say. But if you're 25 years or older, then you actually need to have the rating much higher.
By the way, I'm just realizing Sevian, in fact, is right now, I believe, number 5 in the US.
Okay.
Number 5 or number 6? Wait,
so how can he be number 5 in
no,
the US?
No, sorry, number 6. So he's right behind
Karu, me, Wesley, Levon, and Lanier.
Dominguez, yeah.
That's
and
5.
Then it's
he's
Shanklin.
He's under that.
Shanklin, 27-11. And Sevian just surpassed Niemann, 26-98.
So he's number 7 in the US. Hikaru, Wesley, me, 3, Levon, Lanier, 5.
Oh my goodness, there's so many.
Shanklin, and then Sevian is 7.
Yes, that's ridiculous. Yes.
Hans is number 8 in the United States. And after that,
I think
wait, what happened to
right?
no,
Ray Robson.
That's too bad. I didn't realize that Ray had a tough tournament.
Yes, Ray lost 15 rating points. Jeffrey hasn't played. We still don't know exactly what's happening with Jeffrey. We know there's
Oparin top 10 in the US.
Yes, right? Oparin just made it.
Wait, is he top 10 or number 11? So wait, if Sevian was 7,
Robson 8, Jeffrey 9. Sorry, Jeffrey 8, Robson 9, Oparin number 10.
Okay.
Am I right? I think I'm right.
Wait, it's
yes,
5.
I think we're right.
5 Shanky, 6, Sevian 7.
Yes, we're right.
Hans is 8. No, Hans is 8. Jeffrey is 9.
Never mind.
Ray is 10, right. And Oparin is 11.
Yeah. Oparin, our young lad, he's making some strides. Definitely had a good event in Sharjah. I think working with you is sort of paying off.
Hopefully.
All right, cool. Exciting stuff. Looking forward to Norway. And yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground. It's been a long one.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
All right.
What else? Let's give our viewers some directions of how they can support the channel. First and foremost, the easiest way to do so is to just click the subscribe and the notification buttons, but specifically the subscribe button. That's going to keep you in the loop. Every time we post a video, you're going to see it. So that's one way to do it. The other way is to join our members zone. That's another easy way to directly support the channel. And then if you want to get in touch with us, check our Discord. Go, get in the Discord, trying to reach, I think, quite a few. We have some numbers there. So definitely join the Discord. Keep in touch with us. We'll write you around when we have interesting stuff coming back from Norway, or if we see Magnus doing some funny business, we're going to write it in Discord. And yeah, there's always drama in the Discord. So get in. Anything else, Fabi? Am I missing anything?
No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe we'll do Tile Tuesday next. we'll see. It's actually
What do you mean
after
Title
the
Tuesday?
first round.
That's
We'll see.
Title Tuesday is during Norway. I don't think we're gonna do Title Tuesday.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, cool. Cheers,
All right.
guys.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
Bye bye.